Welcome to Firmus Advisory Doing Business in Ghana series. This series provides insights and navigates the journey to setting up in Ghana. Kindly subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notification to receive an alert anytime we upload. You can find us at where you get your regular podcast.
Hi, welcome back. Welcome to another edition of the Ghana Business Now. This is the second part of the look at the Ghana Beverage report. I still have Anita with me. The previous edition we looked at the general overview of the sector, the market size, as well as what we expect to see. Today we're going to focus a lot more on consumption. Anita, who is the average consumer of beverages in Ghana?
Well, that's quite interesting. Well, average consumer of beverages in Ghana, I would say that everybody is a consumer.
Okay.
But like you hinted, indeed, we have characteristics of typical consumers. So, for example, if you take the alcohol markets, you will see that the average consumer will be a male, aged between 30 to 34. Their favorite drink will be beer, and club will be their favorite drink. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, local dominance. You see club being a local or indigenous company, and it's actually dominating in the minds of the alcohol consumer in Ghana. Then you would also see that they would be earning between 500 and 2,000 Ghana cedis and would have at least an undergraduate degree. This consumer is very health conscious, so they consider health in most of their purchasing decisions. They are not too religious compared to the non-alcoholic consumer, and they also anticipate that their social status play an important role in their life. But when you look at the non-alcoholic consumer, unlike the alcoholic consumer, they are quite religious. Most of the time, religion influences most of the decisions and the choices that they make. They would be either a female or a male, but aged between the ages of 25 and 29 years. Would have a senior high school degree or diploma, and would also be earning between 500 and 2,000 Ghana cedis. In terms of the favorite drink of a non-alcohol consumer, it will be a soft drink, a carbonated drink, and it would be the malted Guinness or the Guinness malt.
So what types of drinks are the others taking in terms of the alcoholic consumers?
So in our report, we looked at 3 broad categories of drinks for each consumer. So if it's an alcohol consumer, we looked at 3 broad categories of drinks. We looked at the beer, we looked at the wine, and we looked at the spirits. For the non-alcohol consumers, we looked at soft drinks, we looked at energy drinks, and then we looked at fruit juice. For the alcoholic consumers, you would see that most of them prefer beer. And then for the non-alcohol consumers, that most of them prefer soft drinks.
So I noticed that the research was done across 3 major cities in Ghana: Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi. Is the consumption pattern the same across these 3 cities?
Actually, it's not. So we'll find that consumers in Kumasi tend to consume a lot more.
Why is that?
Well, consumers in Kumasi people are very sociable. They have a lot of social activities like funerals and other social engagements. You would also see that one of the key places or events that consumers drink a lot is during social gatherings. And given that they have a lot of these activities going on, it's not too surprising to see that consumers in Kumasi consume a lot more than our consumers in Accra and Takoradi. But you would also see that across the different beverage categories, for example, if you take non-alcoholic beverages, consumers in Takoradi prefer energy drinks more than consumers in Accra and Kumasi. Then when you take soft drinks, consumers in Kumasi prefer it more than consumers in Accra and Takoradi. And then when you take fruit juice, consumers in Accra tend to prefer it way more than consumers in Kumasi and Takoradi. So the city dynamics are not the same, and we give a lot of these details throughout the report.
Okay. So averagely, how many bottles would someone consume in a week?
You have to tell me how many bottles you consume in a week.
I try to do one.
No, so that I will be able to see whether it's the same.
On average, if I'm going to watch a football game, probably with the boys, maybe a jar of beer should take me through the rest of the week until the next game. Is this the same for other consumers? Am I in the same boat?
Then you consume way below the average consumer. The average consumer consumes between 1 to 3 bottles of bottle or glass of beverage each week.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. I know we are in the middle of a pandemic. Consumption levels and spend patterns might probably have differ. Has there been any change to what people consume pre-COVID and now?
Yeah, there were some changes. So like I've not yet mentioned, but we did collect our data in 2021, the first quarter, and we asked consumers to tell us what happened during COVID-19. Now, one thing that we must note is that whether or not consumers change their consumption in COVID-19 is not just limited to the COVID-19 situation. It speaks to how consumers react during risk occurrences. So in this case, you see that non-alcoholic consumers change their consumption, but not as much as alcohol consumers did. So you find that about 26% of alcohol consumers change their consumption patterns.
Were they drinking more or less?
Most of them drank less. Yes, so out of the 26, 18% of them drank less, and then 6% of them drank more. And then for the non-alcohol, you see about 15% of consumers changing their consumption patterns during COVID time. And in this, just like in the alcohol markets, most of them drank lesser than they used to drink. Now, they had different reasons for drinking less. Some were quite interesting. So for the alcohol market, for both markets, you see that financial constraints were the main reasons. So for the alcohol market, about 54% of consumers reduced their consumption because of financial constraints. No, that's for the non-alcohol market. And then for the alcohol market, about 32% reducing. So you see that the impact of finance on consumption is different for the non-alcohol consumer and for the alcohol consumer. It's more pronounced for the non-alcohol consumer than it is for the alcohol consumer. Other concerns were health related. For most people, staying at home, they got bored, so they drank more. For most people, to staying at home meant they couldn't participate in a lot of social activities, so they drank less. So the dynamics are quite interesting.
Thank you once again for joining us. We have more of these insights in the report. We would share with you where to get the report at the end of the session. So for the next episode, we'll be looking at spend, and we hope that you join us for that as well. Thank you, Anita, for coming.
Thank you very much, Edem.
Thank you for watching today's episode on the Doing Business in Ghana series. Feel free to leave your questions in the comment section and we will respond accordingly. Visit our website www.firmusadvisory.com and see how we can add value to what you do in these areas: regulatory compliance, market research, and trade development. The link to the website is in the description box.